If you feel stuck in your business right now, it feels like you have way too many problems to deal with and you're constantly chasing your tail, then I can almost guarantee you this. You don't have as many problems as you might think. You actually have one problem, and everything else, they're merely symptoms. You see, most business owners, they spend months, even years trying to fix the wrong things, and they never get hold of the one core problem that is holding their business back. So they stay busy, they stay stressed, and nothing really changes. And this happens more than people think. But in reality, all the problems that you think you have in your business, they don't all need fixing at once. And in this video, I'm going to help you to identify the one main problem holding your business back right now and what to focus on next so you can finally build momentum and get out of that minefield that you find yourself in. My name is Richard G-Cornell, and I'm a business coach and mentor to startups, SMEs, and corporate organizations. I've been in business for 30 years helping brands sell more of their products and services, and this channel is dedicated to helping people create their own destinies. So whether you're a young adult trying to find your path or an entrepreneur, looking to grow your business, I will show you how to cope and succeed in your journey whilst enjoying it along the way. So let's get into it. Symptoms versus the root problem. And before we get into the guts of these problems, I need to explain what I mean by symptoms, okay? Now, in my business coaching business, I often get clients telling me things like, I need more clients, my marketing isn't working, or I'm overwhelmed and I just simply can't cope, or I'm losing motivation. I don't have time to fix anything. And I get it. I understand that all of these problems are real and I don't want to diminish them. But if you take a time, just a minute, to look at these problems, then you will see that most of them, they're not the real issue. They're merely symptoms of something deeper. And until you fix the root cause of these problems, then the systems, they're just going to keep coming back. The number one core problem, lack of focus. Now, if I had to pick the one problem that most business owners face on a daily basis that holds their businesses back from succeeding, it would have to be a lack of focus. And I don't want to imply that most business owners are, say, not focused. What I want to highlight is that too many business owners are trying to fix too many things at once, and they're not clear on what they need to fix first. I often see businesses not clear on who their ideal clients are, so they target everyone. They offer too many services which spread them thin and don't actually provide their clients with solutions which add value. They constantly jump between strategies and are not focused on a strategy which has a clear path for success. And in a lot of cases, they think they're clear on their goals, yet they change direction, every few weeks, and the list goes on. And when focus disappears or their focus is diluted with confusion, then before you know it, their momentum fades. And this is where business owners lose their motivation. Lack of clarity overwhelms business owners. And this is why so many business owners feel overwhelmed. And more often than not, it's not because business owners can't handle the pressure. It's simply because their priorities or their focus, it's just unclear. And when you as a business owner don't know what matters most, then before you know it, everything feels urgent. And when everything feels urgent, you freeze and everything feels impossible. And that's not laziness, that's a mental overload. And it's just too much to handle. And honestly, this is where most business owners struggle. They just don't know what to address first that will more often than not have the most positive impact on their businesses. The pattern. You're stuck in one of these areas. As a business coach and mentor, I completely understand that every business is different and your problems, they may differ from other businesses. But I can assure you that most business owners, they get stuck in one of these four areas. Number one, getting leads and clients. Number two, converting leads into sales. 3, delivering the work in a profitable manner. And last but not least, number 4, managing time and staying consistent. And yes, all of these problems are equally as important as the others. But let me tell you this, that you don't need to fix all 4 right now. All you need to do is identify the one core problem which is causing the most amount of damage at this very moment. And if you can do that, then believe you me, your stress levels, mate, they're going to subside and you'll be well on your way, to getting your motivation back. The question that finds the real problem. And if you're not sure where to start or which problem is the most urgent to tackle, then I recommend you ask yourself this. If I was to fix just one thing in the next 30 days, what would provide the biggest improvement? Now I know it's not the most easiest thing to do, and it sure as hell isn't something that everyone likes doing because it's hard to face. But if you can face this head on and identify the one thing that would create the biggest improvement for your business, well then it's fair to say that there's your real problem. So now all you have to do is get stuck straight in and be honest with yourself about what that problem is. My 4 root problems framework. Now, remember earlier in this video, I highlighted the main problems, that clients get stuck with on a daily basis. Everything from getting clients and leads to converting leads into sales, delivering the work in a profitable manner, and then managing your time and staying consistent. Well, now I want to unwrap them one by one, okay? Number one, your offer is unclear. Now, when I refer to the term offer, I don't mean promotions, okay? I mean that if people don't understand what you do, then they simply won't buy. And this is something where I see a lot of business owners fail at, okay? And it's not because they don't understand their products and services, it's because they find it difficult in providing a clear and concise message to the market as to how they can help. So if you have any chance in identifying this problem, then you'll need to be able to answer these very simple questions. Who do I help? What can I help them with? And why should they choose me? Why should they buy from me? So if you break it down, you want to be able to identify who your ideal client is, identify what challenges that they may have in their business that you can help them with, and lastly, what solutions can you provide them that will make their business better? Because if your offer is unclear, then everything else feels harder. And as a consequence, your marketing, sales, and confidence will be affected as a result. So take your time and be honest with your answers, because this is the basis for what comes next. 2, your marketing is inconsistent. Now, this problem is massive in my opinion and can be very disruptive to any business, right? If it's not managed correctly. And in my other business, my digital marketing agency, we see this happen a lot, especially when clients, their businesses face hardships. It seems like the first thing a business owner does when they get quiet is to panic and then cut the advertising and marketing. They think that by doing this, they will save money. But what they fail to see is that when they do that, they're actually cutting off the main artery to their pipeline for leads, and this is very, very dangerous. And just remember that you might have a great business, but if you're invisible or inconsistent with your marketing, then you don't exist. It's as simple as that, okay? And a lot of business owners, they think it's fine if they promote for 1 week, stop for 3 weeks, and then pick it up when they have time to do so. But this is by far one of the most disruptive things that they can do. And remember, that consistency is what builds trust, and trust is what builds sales, because without a consistent flow of leads, you won't have ongoing opportunities to convert those leads into sales. Next, number 3, not understanding the true cost to operate. Now, this one hurts real bad, and I can speak from experience. There's been times over the years where it just seemed that we were, as a company, we were so busy delivering work, but we were left feeling unclear as to why we weren't making enough money. And if this problem isn't identified quickly, then it won't be long before you will spiral out of control. You will see your staff overworked. They're going to burn out. Your cash flow will be affected. You will feel like you never seem to get there. And you'll always be praying for that miracle to get you out of that situation. And as a business owner, you can't just put your head in the sand and hope it's all going to go away. It's so vital to evaluate your pricing, evaluate your staffing costs, evaluate where the bottlenecks are in delivery, and ultimately, evaluate where you sit in the marketplace against your competitors. And it doesn't matter how much you invest in marketing or sales, if your process is not in sync with the rest of your deliverables, then you're only going to go backwards. So identify where these issues are and tackle them honestly without ego, and I mean that, right? And in a very timely manner. Number 4, your time is unmanaged. Now, if you feel like you're constantly chasing your tail, and you have no time in your day, then it's usually because your day is reactive and not proactive. And by this I mean, you're constantly getting bogged down with trivial tasks which don't drive growth. For example, emails, phone calls, fixing problems, or putting out fires. And unfortunately, business owners usually think that if they do more themselves, they're going to be saving money, right? Well, I hate to tell you this, but it's actually quite the opposite. You're dying a slow death and winning the race to the bottom. When you don't protect your time, you're never going to grow. When you stop focusing on the tasks that move the needle forward, if you don't, you'll be forever a slave to your business. And if you want to have a predictable business with predictable income, predictable results, and predictable growth, then you will soon realize that it all starts with your ability to manage your time better, like it's the most precious asset that you have. And like the saying goes, try to work on your business and not in it. And if you can do that, trust me, you're going to see results. Why business owners avoid the real problems. When you realize you need to take action, it usually comes from a moment of, say, desperation, that things aren't going too well. And this is very hard to face head on, because when you're forced to make that decision, that the road ahead is difficult, but when you face real problems, you quickly learn to say no to things that don't matter. It forces you to simplify your processes, and it forces you to be consistent with everything that you do. And remember that if it was easy, mate, everyone would be doing it. But it's not. It's actually one of the most difficult things as a business owner that they're required to do, and especially when everything is spiraling out of control. I've been there, I know what it's like. And it's in that moment that you need to dig deep and find that courage to get yourself out of that situation and address your real problems, and that's where real growth lies. Fix the root problem and momentum will return. And this is where everything changes for the better. When you fix the root problem in your business, the one problem that needs addressing immediately and the root problem that's going to make a real difference if addressed, well, that's when everything changes fast. You will see that your confidence will rise, your stress levels, mate, they're going to drop, your decisions will become easier, and most importantly, your progress will become predictable. And I want you to remember the last time, that you had a win in your business where everything was humming along nicely. I want you to go back to that moment in time in your head so you can remember how light you felt, how unstoppable you felt, and how much hope you felt for your business. And I want you to hang on to that thought for a moment, because nothing is forever, not good times, and certainly not the bad times. So just know that if you can muster up the courage to tackle your root problem, then you will get that good feeling back again. And that's how you build a business that actually moves forward. Your action plan for the next 30 days. Now, here's what I want you to do today, okay? I want you to identify your main business problems and just pick one root problem, just one, no more than that, okay? Then commit to solving it in the next 30 days. And I don't want you to rush it just for the sake of saying, oh, I fixed it, I've done it, right? I don't want you to do that. You need to ensure you use your time wisely and commit to solving it in that period. And you need a deadline. Why? Because this will teach you to value your time better. And if you can solve that problem in 30 days, then when it's time to tackle the next problem, mate, you're going to feel unstoppable. And if you want to know the reason that you keep bouncing between problems, where you're trying to fix everything at once, well, that's what the next video, Stop Trying to Fix Everything, This Is Why You're Stuck, will be about. So make sure you look out for that video when it drops. And if this video has helped you, then feel free to leave a comment about the one problem holding your business back right now. And I promise you, I will reply to help you get clear on the next step. Now, this wraps up my video today. And if you're a business owner who just wants clarity, you want focus and steady progress in 2026, then be sure to like and subscribe so you'll be notified when my next video in this series drops. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.